now we're gonna do Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episodes 3 and 4. Sorry. So I'll just start off by saying that I actually like these two episodes even more than the first two episodes. Especially ultimately how it all ends and everything. Yeah, I was like, damn.
Oh
But
yeah, that ending shot from 4, really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Something else.
One thing I want to try. Let's see if we can do this. I won't get mad if we fail. But what I want to try is for the first 5 minutes, do like a non-spoiler review, and then after that, spoilers. So I'll go first, so you guys can get like a feel for like the way I'm talking, and you can kind of follow along. So for me, episodes 3 and 4 were really great because they tackle some really heavy themes, and that's kind of been like the you know order of the day, right, for the entire series so far, is that they're tackling really heavy political themes that are very relevant to our modern day, And I do think that while some of it is a little ham-fisted, for the most part, it works to its advantage, and um, it enables what that does for the series. It makes it a much deeper show than you would have thought going in, especially for an MCU kind of show, which they're not always super deep, thematically speaking, and it makes the characters of Falcon and Winter Soldier so much more nuanced. I mean, to the point where I'm liking them as much as I liked Captain America, Chris Evans, because I'm getting this time to spend with them and actually get to know them as characters and
Yeah.
stuff. And the action, great, right? And the way the story goes, super interesting. I don't know where it's going. Um, in some ways, I know, right? But in other ways, there's still some threads here and there where I'm like still kind of trying to figure it out. And overall, I think these two episodes for me, it's like 9 out of 10, probably even 9.5 out of 10. Um, I will admit that the pacing kind of slows down a bit, right? But I think ultimately these episodes are really strong, to the point where like it wasn't that big of a deal for me, especially since the episodes in general, these four and MCU shows, Disney Plus shows in general, they're super short. The episodes, so it's kind of hard for the pacing to really impact it too much. So yeah, that's my review for non spoilers, right? So now, any of you three can go. Go.
I think it was
All right, there.
uh like I enjoyed them, of course. I agree with you. I think they're better than the first two, and not that the first two were bad.
Right.
I think it's very formulaic, kind of like by the book, the way that the pro story is progressing. Not that that's a bad thing though, because they're executing it very, very well. I mean, without giving away spoilers, like yeah, I think the development and the growth that we're seeing with certain characters um, is something that is going to be beneficial for us as fans, but more importantly for the development of the MCU in the future. So I think that's really cool. And I like where they're going with it. And it's supposed to be 6, right? 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So uh, definitely looking forward to how they're going to end it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. Who wants to go next? Who wants to go next?
Go.
All right.
Definitely what you both said. Better than episode 1 and 2, and those weren't bad. These were really good. And to me, both episodes were about trust, about trusting each other, and also hope, and yeah, a lot of reflection for both characters. And Steven always comes up without them even realizing that they have him in the back of their minds. Like basically, what would Steve do? Type of thing. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. And I think I had told you guys right last time, I really didn't like these 2 characters until I started watching the show. You get to see a whole different side of them, and so far so good.
Cool.
To add on that a little bit, I think that especially these 2 episodes are about hope and trust, and also about the the line between doing what is right, not just between like uh, not just between the Winter Soldier and Falcon, but like the other side of that too.
Yeah, Captain
Really-
America. And,
Captain America, and also
John.
Carly, also
right.
the flag.
Yeah, Carly,
flag
definitely.
smasher.
Carly Morgenthau. Flag
Yeah.
Smashers. That's what they call
Yeah.
themselves.
So I mean, it's really interesting, and then you see the parallel between, without going into details, right? The parallel between
Yeah.
the good guys and the bad guys,
Mhm.
and Zemo. That's not a spoiler because he came out.
Oh! Nah, yeah, it's not a spoiler, it's not.
And seeing how he interacts with everybody is
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Zemo is a meme now, so it's not a spoiler. anything that becomes a meme, it's no more a spoiler.
Zemo could.
Joseph?
Yeah, I liked all the episodes. I can't really remember. I did like episode 4 probably the most because, like, it's very interesting what happens. But I have to agree. Yeah, like I just like where it's going, and I didn't know that it was going to be 6 episodes. But I can actually see that now. With episode 4, I can really see. I was like, oh, that's why it's just like progressing like really quickly. Like I think I guess maybe it's like slow, like in a sense how it starts, but like I think the way like the themes and what the characters are doing, I think it's like going like really quickly, like really fast, like, and I think that helps. Like I think with the pacing, as at least compared to like WandaVision, where it kind of takes its time, and it's not as good. I feel like these ones, like I agree with you guys. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's something like I was telling my brother, where I feel like WandaVision, one, it's it's kind of procedural-like, and that in itself is going to slow the pacing down, where this is more serialized, right? But also, two, I feel like WandaVision was, in my opinion, was trying to attempt something, and it ultimately kind of fails, in my opinion. And because it kind of fails, that's what brings it down even more, with the pacing and that and stuff. And here, it's like they're attempting something in Winter Soldier and Falcon. And so far, in my opinion, they've been succeeding for the most part. Great. All right, so, great. We made it through without spoiling it. Pat of the back. Just playing. Now Boba Fett comes on. He's like, I follow that. That's fine. All right, so going into spoilers.
Didn't you guys think that was crazy when Steve Rogers came in and took his shield back? Okay.
That was insane. And then Iron Man popped out and said, "Miss me?" No, it's fine. Hold on. Sorry, I thought I wrote a lot of notes, but I did, but only for episode 4. So I need to go back to episode 3 and see what episode 3 was about, because I don't want to skip it. Let me see here. Okay, episode 3 was called Power Broker, which I had talked about last time. Let me see here, because then you guys are kind of disappearing. All right, there you go. Episode 3. All right, Power Broker. So this one starts with them teaming up with Zemo. Excuse me. And they team up with Zemo. They take him out. They only show Captain America once or twice, which is kind of interesting. Episode 3 just shows John Walker and Battlestar just once, and it's because they're trying to find. They're like following the trail of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was where they realized that they broke Zemo out, and
yeah.
Is that also no? Don't they come out twice? Is it episode 3 where in the beginning, or is that 4? John Walker's like, "Do you know who I am?"
Do you know?
Right, trying to,
wait, who does he tell that?
About, right?
Who does he tell that to?
One of the Flag Smashers, like.
That's episode 3. Episode 3. So the very first scene is him going to that Flag Smasher base, asking them where Carly Morgenthau is, and he yells, "Do you know who I am?" And then the second time is when they
don't care. I do, but I don't care.
Yeah, and then the second one is when they find out that Zemo was broken out. So, okay, and then it ends with they go into Madripoor. That's where Sebastian.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's where he's like the smiling tiger or something like that, right?
Yeah. Right.
So you have all that.
Yeah,
And then that's when Carter comes out, Sharon Carter, for the first time, and then the bounty hunters attack them, and then it ends with that's when the Flag Smashers bomb the GRC, and then it ends with Barnes being confronted by Io from Wakanda. So cool. Now we know where episode 3 starts and ends. What did you guys think? Now we can go into spoilers and stuff.
Yeah, I thought they were. I liked maybe just because I was looking for more excitement, but I liked four better than 3. But I mean, 3 was still great. I'm a Sharon Carter as a character. I wish she came out more often. I like the route that they took with her, kind of like jaded after what happened in Civil War and all that kind of stuff. Zemo's great. I was completely wrong. I don't know. In the last podcast, I was talking about how he's just gonna be for like 15 minutes and then out kind of thing. But
that's what you said.
I was watching it and I remembered what you said.
and I was like, well, I was wrong. I like the dynamic. He's a really interesting character. He's kind of like what, evil neutral, right? That kind of thing.
He's what?
Like evil neutral. Like if you're breaking down the personalities, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's obviously not a good person.
I guess you could say he's chaotic neutral.
There you go.
D&D wise.
Yeah. He's not like inherently going to destroy the whole world, but he will do whatever it takes, including evil things, in order to accomplish his goal.
Yeah. He has.
I like the dynamic, especially the contrast between Falcon.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really interesting because Zemo kind of has like this ideology that kind of makes him also, because I know this is episode 4, but I just want to touch on it a little bit. But you can see it in episode 3 where he talks about like how people have like a supremacist kind of like attitude when it comes to searching power, and in a way, the way Zemo carries out his ideology is almost supremacist light, you know. In that he doesn't really care like sometimes about who he hurts and stuff, which you know, supremacy light. But yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I lost it. It's gone. What were we talking about? We were talking about Zemo, right? No.
Yeah.
Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3. But yeah, I also like how episode 3, when they get into Madripoor, it really kind of humanizes Zemo, because like you can kind of Civil War humanizes him to a point, but at a certain point he kind of goes more into like, I'm evil, right? But here it humanizes him more. I like the part where they show him dancing. I don't know if you guys caught that when they were going through the club. He was like going like that, dancing. And Disney even released like a longer cut of it on
the Zemo cut.
Yeah. But it's funny, but it's the kind of thing that kind of, you know, humanizes him and kind of endears you to him, to the point that once you get to episode 4, you're kind of like, you don't hate him completely. You're kind of more like, what's his deal? What is he trying to accomplish? I'm still kind of confused, but yeah. But yeah. So what did you guys think about Madripoor? That whole thing, that whole situation.
I liked it. I thought it was super interesting. I thought it was really fun. It kind of reminded me like of a video game.
Oh yeah. Why?
like I don't know. It's like she's like a video game mission. Like, oh, okay, we have to go over here, and you guys are in disguises. Don't break your disguise. If we break the disguise, fail mission. Or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just felt like that.
That's true. It's kind of like Hitman. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, I bet you I was probably thinking it's like Hitman or something. But yeah, that's what it reminded me of. Like, I don't know. It just felt like very like video game like, but like it's a good thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's entertaining.
It makes it like a fun sequence.
Yeah,
I
like that. It's cool.
I'm trying to. I love that. I love the not. I mean, aside from Zemo dancing, I thought those the banter as they were walking up to the club, like the ridiculousness of their outfits. I thought that was hilarious. Zemo had like a. I mean, aside from Sam, I thought Zemo's jacket was ridiculous, but at the same time, like perfect for the situation. Kind of thing.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is the part where they're on the plane earlier, right? And doesn't Zemo's what was the song or album that?
Oh, it was something
Marvin
by
Gaye.
Marvin Gaye. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
Zemo kind of breaks it down completely,
Yeah.
and then Sam's like, he's out of line, but he's right. I thought that was yeah,
That was funny. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He's
I like
like,
the humor in that episode.
I mean, even down to going back to Madripoor, right? When he has to take the like egg intestines. I don't know where they are. Like they put it.
the snake.
And
Right?
he's like, I love this.
My favorite.
Yeah, I thought that was
And the guy, like, who's the bartender, is like, this guy, is it really him?
and then what happens at that? Oh, that's when they meet the girl, right? Or the lady,
I'll be
rather.
I think her name. Yeah.
Yeah.
The informant, whatever she is.
What did you guys think about kind of like how much I'm calling him by his real name. How much Bucky how much Bucky stayed true to like kind of like the objective of like staying in character. Because remember at that point Zemo says like in whatever language Winter Soldier attack, and then like he does it without like a moment's thought. What did you guys think about that?
In terms of like what internal struggle.
Yeah. I mean, because I thought it was interesting. Like after that, Sam tells him like, "Hey, are you okay, man?" And he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah." Like, I
I
don't
thought
know.
that was pretty great. I was thinking about that. Like, I like that he dealt with it, and it was confusing to us at first until they show that scene in Wakanda. Right? That's episode 4, right? Or is that episode? Or is that the end of episode 3?
4.
That's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where she's healing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 4, right? Yeah.
He's put it past him. Now I think he's still dealing with. I mean, obviously he's still dealing with the repercussions of the things he did, right? That was in episode 1 with the Nakashima, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's not. That's not his hang up anymore. His hang up isn't. I can be controlled. His hang up is guilt. So I thought that was great.
Cool. Awesome insight. Because I didn't get that, but that was great. No, yeah, and that's just because I didn't pay attention to that, but that's something I didn't realize. That's really cool. Yeah. Cool. So going further, Sharon Carter, she saves them, right? And so what was really cool about this episode? I told my brother, but this episode was actually directed by the director of John Wick. So like he directed the action scenes and stuff, and you can kind of really tell, like in my opinion, the fight choreography was really, because like they get caught, right, and then they have to escape the club and everything. All that whole part was really, really cool, I thought. But what's it called? Going into Sharon Carter when she's telling Sam about like, she's like, that whole hero thing is bullshit, right? And then she says some other choice words. But what did you guys think about that kind of like dilemma that kind of Carter is in the sense that she's kind of like lost hope and like, or even like kind of like, or do you think she has a point, or do you think that she's kind of like lost, and what do you think about it thematically?
I mean, I think she's jaded, and she should be because of what happened in Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we missed a lot of development there, but it's not unreasonable to see how she got to where she is now.
Right.
It's kind of awful now, right? That's what Bucky says.
Yeah, kind of.
Not just that, but the whole blip thing happened, so everyone's gonna change, whether they disappeared or they're the ones who stay behind. So I'm sure that also affected her and how she was too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Joseph?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense for the character. I didn't think it was like, oh, like what, like she's like this now. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. I thought exactly what Lucky was thinking. Oh, she's like that, or what? What did he say exactly?
Kind of awful now.
Yeah, she's kind of awful now. Yeah, I was like, yeah, exactly. What's so funny is that right before he said it in the scene, like I was thinking it. I was like, she's, I don't know. She's kind of shitty. And then he says it. Oh, she's kind of awful now. I'm like, oh, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought about her.
So kind of what I got from it was that like she's like another example of how like the Avengers' actions have consequences beyond themselves. And I think what's really cool about these shows is that you're able to see those consequences in ways that they never would have really been fully established before. You know what I mean? Where you know, usually in movies the consequences are only there for our characters and that's it. We don't actually see what the collateral damage is to of anything else. But also, I thought what was really interesting about what she was saying, it was kind of bringing up this theme of like the kind of like, and they talk more about it when it gets to like the shield and everything in episode 4. But it's kind of like this theme of like the idolatry of like historical figures and stuff, where like people idolize them to the point of like, well, negation in a sense, you know, in the sense that it kind of loses the point by idolizing it so much because they're not perfect, you know. And while Steve was, there's like other, like I think it's trying to speak to like a general greater sense of like people nowadays have an idolatry towards like, you know, George Washington or Lincoln and stuff, which in some respects is fine, but in other respects it's like also realizing that they had their faults too, you know, things that we would vilify anybody for today, you know, Republican or Democrat, like, you know, you know. So I thought that, you know, that was kind of interesting, although I do think it's misplaced when it comes to Steve, where I kind of felt like that's where her anger was kind of towards. But also that whole relationship is kind of wonky, right? Because he like,
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Because he kisses her and she's like the niece.
The niece of what's her name? Forgot. Peggy, right?
Yeah, Peggy Carter.
Peggy,
so.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah. Hey, Sharon, I kissed your niece.
I was gonna say they didn't. I was gonna say maybe they didn't realize how far they were gonna go
at the time.
Yeah, but I believe the Russo brothers, at least they stated as much, that they did plan it out. So it was a really, really interesting decision by them, if that's true.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's weird. No, it's fine. Okay. All right. So, wait. Hold on. Okay. So the next thing is Carly blowing up the GRC. So this is something that I went over through in my head again and again and again, and I just thought it was.
Are you talking about the building?
Yeah. When the building exploded, yeah. I just thought it was random as all hell. Like, it didn't make any sense. Even her reasoning, she was like, "It's the only language that they understand." I'm like, what?
Legit. I rewinded it. I just remember we told me earlier. I actually rewinded it because I was looking like I was looking a little bit off to the side, but like I was paying attention, and then I heard it, and then it happens, and I was like, what? And then I heard what she said, and then I rewinded it again. I was like, wait, what happened? And then I see it, and I'm like, oh, she's the one who did it. I thought it was like just a random accident because I wasn't really paying attention. And then I was like, what? I was like, okay, I guess. Like,
and I don't know about you guys. You can kind of chime in right now after this, but I kind of feel like it didn't really make sense for her character at all. Even when with episode 4 into account, it really felt like Marvel was trying to make it like, hey, she's a bad guy. Like, yes, she has problems, but here, so your head doesn't hurt. Let's just make it clear she's a bad guy. Which kind of sucks because I feel like Black Panther, what kind of brings Black Panther down a little bit, is by making Killmonger such a bad guy. Like, because he has a point. And if he stuck to that point and not being such a bad guy, you would have had a more interesting kind of like complex, kind of like back and forth between him and T'Challa. But because he's an obvious bad guy, he's an easy, okay, he's bad. You know what I mean? I kind of hate that the MCU kind of does this sometimes to the bad guys, where it kind of makes them less gray and just, they're evil. You know what I mean? Because she killed 3 people. And so, only 3 people? I mean, there was like 20 people in there. I'm like, that's just bullshit, but whatever. Yeah. But tell me what you guys think.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Kind of like Khaleesi. You know, at first she was trying to do good, and then she just starts blowing up people and burning people. I'm not saying that's what she's doing, Carly, but it made sense her next step. So she could really, who did she tell her friend? Or no, to Sam, like, I want you to know how serious I was. That's why I called your sister. And I think for her to start being violent was the next step of, you really need to take me serious. If not, it's gonna escalate. And kind of like what Zemo said, she's gonna be an extremist. Like, he was kind of telling Sam and Bucky, like, she's not that innocent. She will, well, she did blow up the building. So I wasn't shocked, really.
Interesting. You see, I think I agree with you in the sense of what they're trying, from the perspective of like, okay, this is what they're doing with the character, but I feel that as the show comes to a close, we're gonna see that she is gonna end up being the main villain, and it's gonna be very easy to be against her, and it's only gonna be because they had her do these actions that are obviously villainous.
I mean, and it happens with a lot of people, like in the real world. They start a good cause and they're doing good, but they want more attention, or they really want to be taken seriously, and they kind of take matters into their own hands. So I can see that happening to her, which is what happened. But Sam did remind me a lot of Steve, where he tried to tell John, like, let me talk to her first, give me 10 minutes, I can get her back. And that was Captain America. He was being Captain America, try to talk to her, side with her, make her realize that they can all work together. So I was like, oh my gosh, he needs the shield, like he deserved to. Right there and then I was like, he is Captain America. He is trying to see the good in everyone before they try other measures.
Yeah, and also ultimately, I don't know how the show's gonna end. I could be completely wrong in her being the ultimate bad guy, and it could very well be, John.
The false Captain America.
Yeah, the false Captain America. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. But if she does end up being the ultimate bad guy, I think it'll come down to preference, in the sense of that I would have preferred her to be a more nuanced villain than a clear-cut bad guy. Because how do you make someone clear-cut bad guy where you have them kill people? Because the good guy doesn't kill people, right? I
mean, like while I was talking to her, I didn't really care about like anything that was going on with her at all. Like not until episode 4, like you said, when they would cut to her, I was like,
why should I care?
I know why they're showing this, but like, I don't really care. Like,
no,
I know that this is why they're showing this. Like, and she's that guy trying to show, she has some sort of a heart, and then like there's like these things. She's human, so she's not perfect, but I was still like.
Yeah, no, and I mean, to your point, like, the show does.
I wanted to see like Captain America, like false Captain America,
right?
And like all that stuff. You know what I mean? But when episode 4 comes around, and then when Sam starts talking to her, right? That whole conversation. That's whenever it becomes more interesting, and it's like, okay, there's something more going on here. What they're gonna do with her character, maybe a little bit. But then, of course, but all that is good. It's just like the first 3 episodes. I'm just like, why?
Yeah. And to your point, the show does do a pretty bad job in kind of establishing her point for a long time until episode 4. And that's something that's going to kind of like kind of hold it back even once the show is all said and done. That you go 3 episodes kind of like, I'm not fully understanding what's going on here. Because even after episode 4, I had to do more research to see, like, okay, what happened to Carly and all these people? Because I still didn't understand completely, like, why they were mad
Right.
and
Yeah.
angry.
Like why they're doing things.
You know, and I'll reveal that as we move into episode 4. But you, Eddie, your input. We're missing your input.
I think pretty much on the same line. It's just like it made sense. Like it made sense. You kind of could tell, or at least for me, I could tell it was coming. But they just need to build into it more. I think, honestly, and part of that, I wonder, because the show, the episodes are pretty long, right? But there's only 6 of them. I feel like maybe if they added another 1 more or maybe 2 more in there, of building her side of it, it would have been more appropriate, I guess. But it made sense. Like I do think, especially, I do think like kind of opposite of what you're thinking. I think in the light of episode 4, it makes more sense. But like I said, it did seem really sudden from what she was, the things they were doing before, to all of a sudden bombing a building. It was out of place.
Yeah. To me, like when I was looking at it, to me it felt like as a writer, it's like, okay, I need to make her be the bad guy. Let me just have her blow these people up. Like,
yeah.
And
for me, what made it worse was the line she says afterwards.
Yeah, they only understand violence. Yes.
I was like, wait, what?
That's gonna make
the language they only understand. I'm like, wait, okay,
Yeah.
I guess. I guess.
Not mentioning the fact that the people that, they were innocent, right? Like, ultimately, like, the thing, like, and, this is interesting that the show is exploring this. I will give it that. But, like, ultimately, when you're mad at a certain, like, regime or something, right? Like, more often than not, it's the main person that's, like, the issue. And not really, like, the people sometimes. Obviously, you got fanatics, right? Or people who believe just the same, right? But yeah. So going in properly now into episode 4. So yeah, now that I think about it, episode 3 is kind of slow, and I would agree with you guys. Episode 4 is better. So going into episode 4, that's when we have the whole thing with Io having, she's healing Bucky in that first scene, and then she's saying that they're gonna get Simo because he killed T'Chaka, and then that's when you have Walker, who becomes a little bitch and can't. He's impatient as fuck. Sorry, I'm saying a lot of bad words. and then that's when they engage the Flag Smashers, and I don't want to say what happens. We'll say it right now later on. And then you have that final shot. Okay, cool. So now we know the structure of episode 4. All right, what did you guys think about that scene of showing how the White Wolf, Winter Soldier Bucky, was able to disassociate his mind from those words that controlled him?
He's free. I think that I thought it was very well acted.
It was what?
Very well
acted.
Oh, well acted.
Yeah. For me, you could really tell. You could see the
Struggle.
The weight off his shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I thought that was good.
something I was telling my brother is that, like, look, Chris Evans is a great actor, but it's like I told my brother, Chris Evans is like a personality actor, where it's like he'll choose a personality and that's what he'll do for the whole movie. So with Captain America, he's stoic. He's gonna be stoic the whole time. In Fantastic Four, he's like the wise guy. He's the wise guy the whole time, right? Or and perfectly in Scott Pilgrim, right? Like, when he's the actor, he's just like so in that sense, his range is somewhat limited. But Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, they're both like, they've been in Oscar movies, and I think they've both been nominated before. And you can tell, like, they're much better actors than Chris Evans. Like, they're able to show, like, the range a lot more.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that you could see there. Even in episode 2, when he's telling Sam, like, you know, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me, right? Like, and
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
hear him when he says like me, like he
Feel it.
feels like, yeah, and you can hear the fact that he
Mhm.
feels so like defeated, if that's the truth, right? And
Right.
and that's something that, like, if it was Chris Evans, he would have been like, you know, he would have just said it more straight up, like, you know, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me, and that's it. You know, and like, he would have just been like straight, and that, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a little different. Little acting trivia, but yeah, you can really tell that in that first scene, for sure. I'm sorry, I felt like I interrupted the three of you. Oh, okay, because it looked like you guys wanted to say something. Did you want to say something, Joseph? You look like you.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, like I was adding on to what Eddie was saying, is that it's cool because you can see in that scene, like it's not just the relief, but like at first it's kind of like because she's saying like, oh, like they won't, the words can't control you anymore, right? And then he's like kind of like unsure, but like you can kind of see like that at first it's like he's feeling like the pain. It's because like I don't know, I relate to his character a lot. Like in this show, like it's really cool. Like I don't know, like Sebastian Stan acts like really well, and you can see like what he does. It's like very realistic. Um, like it's kind of like PTSD in a sense.
Yeah.
And like he's almost, especially in that scene, like where like he's feeling it, and he's like, oh man, like I don't want it to happen. Like at first, like in the first, as she's saying like the words, like you can kind of see he's like, oh, kind of like crap. Like I hope it works. I hope it works. I hope I don't want to go through it again. You know, like I don't want to hear it. And then as she keeps saying it, he slowly starts to transition to like relief, and then like he's like starts crying even more, and like wow, like you know, finally it's gone. You know what I mean? And you can see that like just in that scene. Like I think that's really cool. Like I thought that was really really nice.
And the hesitation he has too at the beginning, like we're gonna do it, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And then she's like I won't let you hurt anybody, or something like
Yeah,
that.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, and you can
Still
see
like-
that in his acting, just without even saying any words. You know what I mean? Whenever she's telling him this, like the words to activate his like thing, you can just see it there. And I'm just like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica, did you have anything that you wanted to? Can you hear us?
We can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry. My bad.
It sounded interesting.
It
It was. Okay, yeah, back to what we were talking about. So yeah, in episode 3, when he Zemo told him like Winter Soldier, whatever,
Mhm.
his face, it didn't seem as serious as like the other movies. So to me, I felt like he was acting. So I'm glad they did clarify that.
Right.
In episode 4, that he broke that, you know, he was set
Mhm.
free. And it's so true. Like in these past 4 episodes, we've seen so much emotion from Bucky compared to just the movies. He's like this serious like killer, and then that's it, right? And so it was really interesting seeing him showing emotions and finally feeling free. So I can see why it affected him so much when Sam gave away the shield, and how you said like if what do you say?
Like what did he say? Like the lines?
The lines, I totally forgot that if
I mean, what did Bucky say? What did Bucky say to Sam? It's
yeah,
what
what's
she
the
said.
line?
Sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me.
I blanked out.
He told Sam, you know, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
You think he's wrong about me.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of connecting. Like he is now feeling emotions and wants to do everything right. So I really did like that scene. What else were we talking about? I'm sorry.
No, just at the beginning.
Because I can hear my kids, so I'm just like,
No, just the beginning scene. You know, in Wakanda, him being cured of the ward's
oh yeah.
activations, triggers, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, because what you guys said, I totally agree with, and I'm just gonna add that, like, on a side note, it was cool to hear the Black Panther soundtrack a little bit, right? Like when it was Wakanda. I don't know if you guys know, but if I'm not mistaken, it got the Oscar for best soundtrack that year it released, so it's pretty cool. But what I thought was interesting is that this might be kind of a taste as to what Black Panther 2 is going to be, because Ryan Coogler talked about how, because with Chadwick Boseman dead, they're not going to replace him, right? So they said that part 2 is going to go more into Wakanda and what goes on around there, and this is kind of like that, right? It's a side story. It's with Bucky and stuff. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And if it's as strong as stuff like this, if they find a way to make it, really thematically strong and still relevant, even though they're gonna have to dance around Black Panther, I'm excited for that. And going back to the scene itself, yeah, it was really great to see him going through that personal kind of like triumph over that, especially for somebody who's been misused like this entire time in the MCU.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's like finally like he's getting somewhere, in terms of becoming like a person, really, because he had that snatched from him for who knows how many years, right?
Like he said in one of the episodes, right? Like he was, once he came back from being frozen, he was just fighting the whole time.
Yeah. Sorry, Eddie, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, just thinking about it right now, he has. I bet if you did a word count from Cap taking the serum to the start of Winter Soldier, how many lines does he have? He has his whole thing is just being like this.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to expand it a little bit, so that's really cool. Before he had you saw his personality in the first Avenger, Captain America, a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
The friendship between him and Steve Rogers, and then after that it's just blank.
Yeah, because Winter Soldier and then a little bit in Civil War, right? Once he becomes
a little bit, yeah,
towards the end. But yeah, now you're getting to see more of his character, which is great. And okay, so after this, so after that, Walker and Hoskins, fake Captain America and Battlestar, they find Sam, and Bucky, and get all mad and shit. I thought that was funny because he's super impatient and stuff. And that's actually when they team up, right? Yeah. And so they team up, and that's when they get to where Carly is, and Sam says, "Hey, let me go talk to her. Give me 10 minutes." And then you see just like Walker's problem, at least a big problem, is that he's very impatient for some reason. I don't know why.
I know, right?
I think it's like got into his head that I'm Captain America. I save.
Yeah.
It goes. I think it got to him, especially with episode 3 where he was like, "Do you not know who I am?" Like.
So it's kind of like
Captain America would not say that.
So it's kind of like an inferiority complex.
Yeah. I think so. I just think that at least in that part, it was kind of like, we need you to do something. If you don't do something, nothing's gonna happen with the story. It was a little bit forced, but I do agree that it's not like super like forced. It's like just a little bit. It's a little bit too impatient.
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing of like not having. I don't know if more episodes would make it better, but it would definitely make it more feasible to flesh out, because you want to see him, the facade start to fade, right? He's not the perfect man that they built him up to be in episode 1, and so you see that chipping away, maybe not as slowly as we would like because of the rush therein to tell the whole story. But it's kind of it's a progression that makes sense with where they're trying to get with this character, and then we're finally starting to see it culminate. Right. Also in episode 4, we find out that his 4 medals of honor, they're not, that they had used to build him up as such a great character. He's now their not so honorable things he did to get them. Right?
Right.
Yeah, because he talks about what he did in the War of Afghanistan. He's not super specific in what he did.
Yeah, he's very vague.
But I think in general it's like the viewer can understand that the war in Afghanistan in general was very like not good, right? So you could imagine that there was a lot of things that people did that probably weren't good, but it's because they were following orders, right? Which kind of, when you think about it, puts a very stark comparison towards other things that have happened in the past.
And also
Very
more,
interesting.
is that what you were saying? I couldn't hear you very well, but the contrast between John Walker following orders and Captain America not following orders if it's against his code.
There's that, yeah, but also I was thinking, like, going back to like the real world, like kind of military context, how these American soldiers are following orders and doing kind of some terrible things. How that is kind of contrasted with, like, when you look at, like, say, the Nazis, and how some of them were just following orders, you know, and obviously they're not they're not committing a genocide, right? Killing all Afghanistans, right? But it's just something.
Yeah, he got bored.
Joseph, you disconnected. Oh, okay.
There he is.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there's this kind of, like, the shows bring. I mean, actually, it made me think about that. I guess is the best way to say that. I have to be careful with my words. I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to say something that's not good or whatever.
What are you talking about?
No, it's because I don't know if you heard me, but I was
No.
talking about, like, American soldiers in Afghanistan following orders and how that compares to, like, Nazis following orders.
Oh, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, obviously it's not to the
Gotta
same.
think about it a little bit more.
Yeah. Obviously it's not to the same degree, but it's something that came to my mind when Walker brought that up and reminded me about the Afghan war and everything. And
I do think that I like his character development better than the woman bad guy.
Yeah,
I don't remember her
Carly. Yeah. They really
like his hit. They build it up way more.
they've really built it up pretty well. I mean, if anything, he's a foil, right? I mean, both of them. Well, not really Battlestar, since, spoiler alert, he dies.
Right.
but he's definitely like a foil to Sam. When you think about it as a character, right? And something
It's
else. Sorry.
Much more nuanced, his development.
Yeah. And I thought it was really interesting because you see his impatience, you see his total defeat with the woman, the Darmalaj, the Darmalaj, yeah, the Wakandans, right?
It's just they sound cool. Their name sounds cool.
Yeah, the name sounds really cool.
I mean, you can see it in his face. Like, it hit him when he said they don't even have serum.
Super soldiers.
Yeah, super. So there you go. Like, he was like in shock, and I think to me that made him realize he needed to take it to really be able to be Captain America.
Yeah, and then he like
beat anybody.
But
like
then
the serum, right?
but then something that I thought was really interesting, a scene that kind of shows why he's not a good Captain America beyond his already obvious failings, is that you see when he is asked for an autograph and he signs it, and Battlestar asks him, like, how long until it gets annoying, right? And he's like, oh, dude, you wouldn't believe, or something like that, or 10, or that's what he says. And then Battlestar is like, I think, I don't know what they say exactly, but it leads to the point where Battlestar says, like, how, like, he was ready to give an autograph, like he had an
he even draws like a little ship or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he had an insignia and stuff, and it kind of showed the parallel between how Walker, even though he feels like, because you hear him, I think in episode 2, and where he says that he wants to be the best.
He's trying to be Captain America.
He's trying to be the best Captain America.
I'm not trying to replace Steve. I'm just trying to be the best Captain America.
Yeah.
It's in episode 2.
But he fails even in this small little moment where you can see Battlestar is more appreciative of the privilege that he has to be given an autograph than than Walker is. You know what I mean? And also kind of throws into contrast the whole idea of how, again, like, I think it's no mistake that his friend is black, and I think they do that on purpose. And I think they're trying to kind of make a point that, like, minorities in a sense are, like, sometimes in certain ways, in contexts that are similar to this, more appreciative sometimes of the position that they may be in. You know what I mean?
I see that point, but it's a little bit racist. The opposite.
I mean, maybe in the back of the mind kind of thing. I can see it.
It's like
I think I saw that point too. I'm just saying, like, they have that problem, like, with Hollywood and everybody. They make one point, and then, like, it's the opposite. It's like, no, like, that's racist to white people. You know, because, like, that doesn't mean that everybody's like that. But I understand what they're saying. But...
To an extent, but I do think that the bigger point is that people who are naturally privileged sometimes are less appreciative.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
Yeah,
but not just like white people.
And the only reason I say minorities is because minorities are more likely to be in a less privileged position, right? But in general, people who are in privileged positions are less appreciative sometimes of what they have versus somebody who never had something, right? Even us as middle class folk, right? We take for granted a lot of the things that we have in ways that we know that had we experienced, you know, a different life, we wouldn't be taken for granted in a way. I mean, we like to think that we don't, right? But it's obvious that, like, we kind of do. You know, like, if taken to the test, like, it obviously I can't say, like, exactly what we would do, right? But I don't know. Sorry, I got kind of... It's because that's what I like about this show. It has, like, a lot of things.
It makes you think and, you know, question things.
Yeah.
That's why it is more interesting than, like, watching the business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, all right. That was heavy. That was heavy. Moving on. No, well, Jessica, what do you think with what I was saying about Walker and kind of like his privilege and, you know, how that adds to him even further, like, not being, you know, appropriate to be the Captain America?
I mean, honestly, I didn't see it as in privilege of, oh, he's a white man, he has privilege. I saw it more as in he's trying to live up to the original Captain America, and he himself feels like he just can't because he doesn't have the super strength, he doesn't have the love that everyone, or respect actually, that everyone gave to Steve Rogers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he is how he is. I don't think it really
Uh-oh.
was.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Enough a little bit.
Oh, no.
I mean, yeah, no. Oh, no.
That's so weird because I can see myself normal.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's just reflecting your own feedback to you, so it's always gonna.
Try logging out and logging back in. It worked for me earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't catch it as like, oh, like white man privilege, like think he's getting to his own head.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
No, again.
No. It went out a little bit, but we got the last part.
No,
we heard.
Yeah.
Just getting into his own head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn it. Okay.
I'll just stop there. So I won't freeze again.
No, it's fine.
No, yeah, he's kind of like a child in the sense. He's letting it get to him. You know? Like, oh, you know what? Like, I want to be like this. I want to be like this. I want to be loved, but like, it's not happening, and it's kind of like backfiring on him every single thing he's thinking about.
And I also think he kind of like doesn't understand that in order for him to acquire what he desires, he needs to work for it. You know.
Yeah.
And it's not. And
it's like he's trying to rush into it. Yeah.
And it's not that he didn't work for it in the sense that he was chosen as the next Captain America, right? I mean, he did that part, but it's like he's not realizing that there's more to it, you know. Yeah. Especially when you're retaking the, you know, somebody else's
Are you stretching your eyes?
Title.
I was out because it was bubbles. You guys, I thought I had it on you.
No, it's okay.
I was like, wait, what?
It's okay.
Your daughter very clearly. That's a good sign.
No, it's okay.
It's because she had like super watery eyes.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what is happening? Sorry.
No,
I
it's
don't
fine.
think John Walker's a good Captain America.
God bless you, baby. I'm sorry. I thought I had to mute.
So you know, I thought what was really interesting was there was one scene where Battlestar, he John Walker tells Battlestar how he plans. I forgot what it was. I
What
think he
happened?
I think he wanted to arrest Sam and Bucky for breaking
Mhm.
Zemo out, but he didn't have proof. And then Battlestar says something along the lines of, "I don't think that's legal." And then John Walker says something along the lines of, "Do you think
Yeah,
they'll sweat us on how?" You know,
yeah. He's talking about that, right? And then he says like this is basically gonna be like not by the book or something like that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he says, "Do you really think they're gonna sweat us on how?" And I think that was really interesting because that spoke to kind of like military kind of like imperialism in the sense that he feels like in the end the ends will justify the means.
Mhm.
Am I saying that right? Or the means will justify the end, whatever.
No, the end justifies the means.
Yeah, the end justifies the means. Yeah, there you go. Sorry. So yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Another aspect of as to why he shouldn't be Captain America. Because I mean, honestly, what's so crazy, what's interesting of what it does, and I'm not saying that this happens to all military people, but in some cases they kind of become like government puppets. Would you disagree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, that's one of the things that made Steve, like, Captain America, that he doesn't, it's not about following orders, it's about doing what's right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what Winter Soldier's all about, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, was it in the first Avenger? The person who's gonna give him the serum. I forgot. He's the doctor, right? I don't remember his name, but
Yeah.
he's like, it's not about being the perfect soldier. It's being a good man or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And
Uh-oh.
Joseph.
I'm back
Oh.
after an interruption.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, sorry. Going episode 4. So you know what was interesting? What she was saying. So there's a part where Carly goes to the cemetery, and she gets the serums. And she said that she says this about Captain America, and I wonder what you guys think of this. She says that they need a leader. Well, no. Somebody tells her they need a leader who looks like them, that understands their pain, and then she says that the shield is a monument to a bygone era, a reminder to the people who were forgotten. What do you think about that?
Who says that? When? Where? Why?
When it's Carly when she goes to the cemetery, and she sees her friend brings up the idea of the shield, of Captain America's shield,
Uh-huh.
and she says that shield is a monument to a bygone era and a reminder to the people who were forgotten.
She says that.
Mm-hmm.
she says that at the cemetery.
Yeah, I remember. I thought it was really interesting, so I typed it down. That's.
I mean, it seemed to me, right? I didn't go too deeply into it, although it's a very deep line. That like a commentary on heroes kind of like to add on to what Sharon Carter had said, I think in episode 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's time we take things into our own hands, kind of thing. Captain America, that Age of the Avengers, that's it's they're dinosaurs now. They're not irrelevant, but um, they've they've been phased out, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have a purpose anymore. And her movement is all about taking things into my own hands and getting what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very, very deep line. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but that's kind of like what it seemed to me.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. To me, I kind of felt like she's talking about the fact that the shield, what it represented was America, and that the America that it represents is gone. But along with it being gone, the people who made America what it was are, they're not remembered.
Is she American? Right?
I have
She
no
has-
idea.
She talks with an American accent, I think.
No, she talks
Isn't it like British?
Yeah. She talks with
British?
like yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's British exactly, but it's with an accent, with a European.
Some sort of English accent.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded. I don't know. I would have to listen to it again, but I remember it sounding like.
No, I mean she says like, I wouldn't have killed your sister, Sam. Something like that. It's
Yeah, I
it's,
guess
it's very obvious. Like
Now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, now I'm thinking about that. That's true. Okay. Yeah, that's true. But then that doesn't. I mean, that wouldn't really connect with me, in the sense like why would she be hating America?
Well, like I said, maybe
Other than Europe, anti-American sentiments, right?
maybe she was American at some point. I don't know. You
Yeah.
see, this is the problem with the show. It really
Yeah,
does.
that's the problem, right?
It really-
It's like, why does she hate it? Why is this thing happening?
Where is she
Yeah.
from? What's
Yeah,
going on?
Her motivations
Yeah.
are not very developed yet.
Yeah,
Other than
that's why.
I wasn't blipped, and no one's watching after me.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing that that I thought was interesting was that Zemo says super soldiers shouldn't be allowed to exist, and Sam tells him, "Isn't that how gods talk?" And
Right.
I thought that was really interesting because yeah, I mean right there he catches Zemo at his own line about supremacy, right? Like
Yeah.
and saying that, like, it was really interesting because I thought it really connected to to what some people have, to what some general people have in terms of sentiments towards others. You know what I mean? Where sometimes they have a sentiment along the lines of where they believe that those kind of people shouldn't exist. You know what I mean? And I'm not speaking like really when it comes to white people and black people and stuff like that. I really do think that on both sides you're gonna have the extremes, right? But I do think that it goes more towards where we as Americans, not me, you, Joseph, but like some general Americans, kind of fall into this trap of like seeing this other race as the enemy in terms of like when it comes to Muslims or Asians or whatever, and they have or they do actions, where that kind of align with that ideology of like they shouldn't exist,
Yeah, like it goes into like, I guess, controlling like what everybody should be, and it's like not that far, you know what I mean? Like maybe some people are bad, but like you can't just like restrain them,
Right. Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting because Sam says, isn't that how God's talking? And in a way, it's like people at certain points in their lives might have spoken like that to a certain extent. Definitely politicians. Politicians say the damnedest things. So, like, for sure, they at some point have said things that are similar to that. You know what I mean? Of like, isn't that how God would talk? And in a sense, at least for us as Catholics, we know that we're not God, right? So we shouldn't say things like, or play God, right? you know. I don't know. I thought that was really interesting. There's another line that spoke out to me. Sorry, I was like, I told you I wrote a whole bunch of notes.
I also thought the other part that was interesting is whenever they're talking about the serum, and then they say like, oh, you know, Steve, you know, he was a good one. And then Zemo's like, well, there isn't another Steve. Like, there hasn't been another Steve. And it's like, oh, that's true, you know.
Yep. And I think it speaks to the fact that we live in a world that unfortunately is not as black and white as like when Steve was raised in. And that doesn't take away from the fact that Steve is who he is, right? But it's that it's gonna be harder to find a Steve because of the world that we live in, where everything is more gray and it's not so clear cut as to what's good and what's bad, you know, what's evil. So I think, you know, that was really interesting. What do you think, Jessica? You've been quiet. Oh, she's okay. And after that, we'll go we'll talk about what happens in the end.
Okay, sorry. It's because my little one came in here, so I'm telling her to.
Don't worry.
I can't. She's looking at me like I'm gonna yell. I was gonna say something. Hold on. Let me gather my thoughts. You can hear her. Hold on.
It's okay.
The horror rating, I think there's like I'm thinking of this from a logical point of view, right? Just then it just doesn't add too much, or at least in my maybe it will. But like if you're thinking that statement logically, you know, super soldiers. What about Steve? Like he's a super soldier. From a math point of view, like from a logic point of view, if you're gonna make a blanket statement like that, like there are everybody, the super soldier should not exist because everybody will be corrupted or whatever. Well, the negation to that is say I find one. If you find one person, that statement is negated, and obviously it's going to be very, very difficult to find other people because most people will be corrupted by the super soldier serum. But if you can find one, then you can find others, right? Now, I'm not saying the super soldier serum should exist. I think unless there's some kind of weird plot twist in there, it's gone, right? John Walker got the last one, and they killed the doctor who was working on it. But I like that it points to the hope that Sam has for humanity, because, you know, contrasting Zemo and Sam. Zemo doesn't believe in people, and Sam does.
Yeah, Zemo's like a nihilist, and Sam's like.
And Sam is more like Steve Rogers. You know, he believes. He has hope. Go ahead, Jessica. Oh, unless you're gonna add to that.
What's the John Walker's partner? What's his name?
Battlestar. That's what or
Battlestar.
Hoskins, right?
Yeah.
It's a real name.
John says, would you take the serum or whatever? And he says, you just become more of who you really are. So how he said, like Steve Rogers, also again back in those days compared to now, it must be harder. So obviously Steve, he was good, he was humble, and that just elevated him a little bit more. So I can see why Zemo thinks, you know, those super soldiers now should be destroyed. Because look at Bucky, but then again, Bucky was able to change. You know what I mean? So I don't think all the super soldiers should be labeled as bad. It's up to, I guess, that person and how they are inside. I can hear my children. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
I can hear singing in the background. Sorry.
It's okay. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And I mean, to add to that, you know, Bucky himself technically wasn't bad because he was controlled, and once he's able to get out of it, he is good, right? So yeah, there is hope that there could be more, you know. And even though Sam says, like, you know, that he wouldn't take it, right? It's exactly the reason why he should, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
in the sense, Zemo himself says that, you know, people who are looking for power are already on that path, you know, to be like the person you don't want the serum for. But for Sam to be the one who says no, then he should, you know, kind of like a king or president, right? Ideally, right? You would want
Like
somebody.
the best leaders are the people who don't want to be the leaders.
Yeah. So yeah, great stuff. That's what I love it. All right, cool. So, moving on to the end. What happens in the end? Hoskins dies, Battlestar dies, and that throws Walker into a crazy frenzy. And then he jumps out of the wall trying to copy Captain America and chases after this dude who had nothing to do with it, even though he was holding him down. And then he looks on top of him, and then we have a homage to Civil War, except plot twist, he kills him. So
He actually does it.
you know, I thought it was really interesting that the camera angles is almost exactly like shot for shot, like the way with Iron Man in Captain America. It was like, except Walker actually kills. So right there we have a direct, like, visual correlation.
Juxtaposition, right?
Juxtaposition. Steve was able to control himself, because ultimately he is good, and Walker was not. And it's somebody who wasn't even the one who killed his friend. So imagine what he would do to the one who killed his friend. But that means that he stays true to what he said, which is he would kill, well, he's going to deal with anybody who gets in his way. And that was one person who was in his way. And then obviously the shot ends with his bloody shield. So, all right.
And he's looking around, and I wonder how he's going to get out of this.
It's going to be like, oh, don't worry, that wasn't really Captain America. You can see my face. It doesn't look like me. It's just, you know, it was somebody else, some crazy psycho. Look, I'm over here in America. No, it's fine. I don't know.
They're gonna steer into it like he killed some. Like they're gonna blame it on the guy. I bet.
Yeah,
right. I was about to say that.
He saved you guys from a bomber.
Yeah, like I was about to say they might like change it like that. Like in the news media, it'll come out like, oh, hey, it was some other thing. When for real, he was just killing.
Yeah,
that's true.
But that's still powerful. I mean, if you want proof that John Walker's not Captain America, just look at that last shot with the bloody shield. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Captain America
Not
never
just that,
bloodied
but
his shield.
He just kept hitting him and hitting him. One time wasn't enough. It was anger that he unleashed.
Yeah,
it was rage and anger. So obviously not fit.
Yeah, and it's crazy how much blood there was, like, because it's PG-13.
I know, right? I was like, oh wow.
But I like that. I mean, I think one of the things
I like blood and
I love blood. Bloodlust.
What was so crazy was seeing that kind of version of Captain America. We've just seen the good, sweet Captain America, and then to see like this drastic change. It was also kind of weird, but it was like, wow, you know.
I will say that the one thing that would end up sucking is if they use this to take him off like the story path, you know, because that's one way it could go, where the U.S. government realizes he did something bad, and it's like, okay, we're gonna put you away.
You know what?
We'll deal with you later. We'll deal with you later.
Because they have. There's only 2 more episodes. 2 more episodes.
There's only two more episodes. I'm saying that could be one thing they could do, and then only.
Oh man, I hate that you said that.
Only with him to return.
I don't think they'll do that. It has to be Sam at some point versus John.
I would love that. Hopefully.
That'd be awesome.
Huge fight. Maybe he'll talk him down or something. But I mean, he's gonna take the shield back. He has to.
Yeah, because now he's.
But you know what was? Okay, I thought I had it on mute.
No, go ahead.
What was interesting to me was seeing Carly's face, like if she was in shock. But then I was like, but you just bombed a bunch of people. But I guess it was because it was her friend. But I just think even her being shocked of how grotesque it was in such a public place, and just seeing everyone's reaction was just, that was a really great scene. I mean, not what happened, right? But I mean.
No, of course.
Even though she blew up a whole building. But
but yeah, I mean, imagine, like, we don't see it, but I could only imagine that the scene itself, like, He probably have a couple eyeballs popping out and his face mushed in and like, you know. So it's probably pretty gruesome as hell. Like Captain America is not that, right? I mean, you know, it's one thing for, you know, to shoot or kill bad guys, right? It's another thing to brutalize the person, especially when he was like, stop. I mean, that's like direct, like, you know, connection to like things that happen nowadays a lot, right? When you have people stop, and you know, things happen, right? But yeah, I don't know. It was really interesting. I was really surprised that they went there. I didn't think that they were gonna do that yet.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, but then now that you say it's 2 episodes left, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Makes sense for him. And to their point, like they built him up to be more of who he was. We know that he's paranoid. We know that he's impatient. We know that he has inferiority complex. So times that by 1,000, and that's what you get. You know, somebody who's gonna do it his own way. It's not gonna look back. And I mean, and even when he's looking at the people, he's not even looking at them in like awe or anything. He's just like, "What you looking at?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's more like,
I'm right.
Yeah.
I mean, I did what I had to. Like,
Captain
Yeah,
America.
I think when they chose him to be Captain America, they probably just saw like the strength aspect, his mobility and everything. I don't think they realized that it's also mentally how you are and your emotions. So
On paper,
it's on paper. Yeah, exactly.
It's great. But...
Not just that, but also the U.S. government, I would imagine, would want somebody who's a yes man than a no man. You know, somebody who's gonna follow their orders and not, you know, which might play into why they would like cover for him in the sense that, okay, we know Walker's on our side, even if he's gonna do some bloody stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So overall, that's about it. I don't know. What you guys have anything else to add? I don't. I've pretty much talked it all out.
I think so.
Great. So what would your scores be for this 3 for what we would call it Act 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
3, I say like a 7.5, 8. It was kind of slow.
Okay.
Kind of don't remember much. But the last episode, a 9.
All right. Eddie, Joseph.
Yeah, I give it a 9.
All right.
I don't want to put them individually. I saw them both together.
Okay.
So I would lump them as 1, and I think it's a 9. And like I said, 3. I enjoyed 3. It's a little bit slow compared to 4, but I mean,
it still has some really great funny moments and stuff.
Yeah.
The Zemo cut. Yeah, I agree. I think I counted them as 1, right? I think they're like 9. Yeah, I like them. I enjoyed them a lot.
Yeah, like last time I gave 1 and 2 a 9. I think for me this is 9.5. And if 5 and 6 stick the landing, it's gonna be a 10. It's gonna be a 10 for me. Which is great. I mean, that means Captain America continues its excellence. Because I loved every movie, and so
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. That's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know if you guys want. Wait, Eddie, did you see Justice League?
Not yet.
Okay, never mind. Then we can't do it then. All right. Well, then we'll do that at some point in the future.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if
no. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I mean, I'll plan on doing it this week, probably.